What is up, everybody? It's Don with the Don Tech, and today we are finally moving forward with my wall mount project where I'm going to be taking this computer that fully functions, putting all the hardware that I need to into it, and then mounting it on this wall, crossing our fingers to hope that it doesn't fall. This computer does not have VESA mount support, so we had to get a little crafty with that. The link to building this computer is going to be in the description down below. And I also am going to put it on my original existing mounted section on the wall. You can also check how I wall mounted this equipment in another video in the description down below. Some of the other mounting hardware that we're going to be using is going to be some spacers in here. We've got nuts and bolts here that are all those dimensions right there that will allow you to thread the screw through the mounting bracket, through the case backing support, and then through the actual case itself. You can see here all of these pre-drilled by me holes. I've got the measurements of what I needed to do, and we've got 2 on the bottom for each left and right, and then we've got 3 on the top for each left and right. So as you can tell, it is quite a project. So the plan is getting all of these threading together. This is going to be a noisy video. We're going to be using this bracket. How's it going to go? It's going to go, the bracket is going to go on this side of the aluminum, and then we're going to have a spacer between this aluminum and this steel support brace, and then on the other side of the case is where we're going to be threading through the nuts onto the bolts. That's probably going to be the most challenging part, because when I first tested this, the computer wasn't built yet. Now that the computer's built, I have to be a lot more creative with how I'm going to come through the computer to put the nuts onto the bolts themselves. This metal support piece will go directly into the case itself. Then it will clip on at the top. There are some additional screws for the bottom and the top of the case to hold it in. I should be able to put those in now, but I want to verify first. The tricky part is going to be getting all the spacers on correctly in all of these 10 points. We'll probably just try to get 2 and 2, if we can even do that. We might not honestly be able to get any spacers. Wait, actually, I might have some space. If I take the side panels off for the additional power supplies, that'll give me a lot more. Actually, why don't we just do that? That gives me all the room I need for virtually everything. So there's a pretty good space between these. We almost might want to use 2 spacers. No, just 1 spacer. I had a little bit thicker of a spacer, which I think I do, but so for now though, I do know that I can screw in the top and bottom brackets. I'm going to be using a thicker screw than what they came with, just to give me a little bit more support. And weighing the computer before doing this, it weighs exactly 40 pounds. Once we add all the mounting hardware, we're probably looking at about 45 pounds. So we're just going to start with 4 bolts and 4 spacers. The spacers, in my mind, are going to help with some of the pressure at those points. So I could be completely wrong on this. I'm not an engineer. Okay, actually there was no point in pre-threading these, because that's not how that's going to work. That's not going to work. Oh, whoa, whoa. That worked. I didn't get the spacers. Therein lies the theory. Maybe I can get spacers on all of these then. I can line them all up at the same time. All right, we might be getting somewhere here. We've got all 10 down the line. I'm going to start threading them, and then hopefully I can line them up and get them all in the holes on the other side of that bracket. Don't ask me how, but somehow I have 7 spacers. I just need to be able to lift up just a little bit more. Be able to get those in, and then they would all be golden. If I can remove all 3 of these screws from the top, I don't have to slide it up and on. I can just slide it forward and then find a way to screw these in. One problem at a time, one solution at a time. Oh no, lost a spacer. Okay, hold on. We all lose out in the heat of passion, Jimbo. So I had just painstakingly worked on the conclusion that I can only get 2 spacers in here, and I won't be able to get any more spacers anywhere else. And then I realized I forgot this stupid thing. This has to go right here. So that means that I need to undo my work, which was not a lot, but albeit it was a little bit of pain, only because I want to add in the spacer. So I got to really think, do I even need 2 spacers? If I can only have 2 spacers, is that really worth it? I think in the grand scheme of things, if it's only 2, we're gonna say no. So back to where I was 30 minutes ago. Not dealing with any spacers. Make sure that's all on this. Side panel is on. We're just gonna go ahead and start mounting each of these one by one. And you know, thinking of the spacers, it's better that it works this way without the spacers. Because if I had the spacers, I would have to redo this every time I wanted to work on the computer. So as you can see, we've got virtually all of them in. They're not screwed in yet, and the nuts aren't on them on the other side for the support, but we will be moving to that in just a second. The good news is from my 2 holes that I created on the side here, removing these side pieces, I have access to 8 of the 10 bolts. I don't plan on doing anything more than hand tightening these. I don't think I'm gonna need to get a wrench and really tighten them down, because this is just to make it so they won't really fall out. This isn't the load bearing part. The load bearing part is already on the wall. All I can say is I really hope that these hold. 2 more, but I don't really know how I can access these. Let's see, I do have a grommet down here, but that's cluttered with some wires. I gotta get, you can see right down there. I've got everything else all. Just have that final 2 way down in the bottom there. The final one, which is the furthest. Oh no, I dropped it. I dropped one of the nuts. So I'm gonna forever have at least 1 in here. Let's try not to go for 2. I'm losing dexterity in my fingers to be able to hold it in place. We got it. My forearm is all sorts of scuffed and damaged and everything from being inside of this case in the pits longer than I would have expected. But all 10 nuts and bolts are secured to this, and I mean that's solid. That's pretty solid. I don't expect it going anywhere. For a second there, I thought that maybe I installed these upside down, and if I had done that, I was about to just throw this out the window. So now we're gonna see if we can mount this just right there and see if it holds. Just because if there's a catastrophic problem, I don't want to be picking up glass. The front side panel is already gone. I guess this is the front side panel, and the other side panel, the glass pieces, the tempered glass is done and not on here, because I don't want to be picking that up in the event that it falls. It'd be funny enough if the computer fell, let alone having to deal with that. So apologies if there's any weird cuts. I'm trying to keep it all one solid piece, so it's kind of like, oh, you know, look at how it is. I've been in this room for a little bit too long, getting a little delirious. So let's see here. I'm gonna mount, I think I'm still in frame, cool. I'm gonna try to mount this camera over here. I don't know what this is gonna look like at all. It's probably gonna get covered up immediately by the computer. And then we're going to take the computer, which right now probably weighs, this wasn't 5 pounds worth of hardware. So right now it might weigh, I have no idea. I don't know how much it would weigh. So the moment of truth, putting this computer that is not VESA compatible, I guess let's turn that, get more of a shot. So to get this on here, will it hold? Place your bets in the comments down below. pretty sure I'm in on those points. And so far, this is not nearly as heavy as my other one. The video that you guys saw me do when I was wall mounting my other computer, that computer case, that Core P90 was way heavier than this one. This is only about, right now, maybe 38 pounds, depending on how much the glass is. And, oh, that sucker's on there. That's nice. So, I mean, it's not going anywhere. I'm not concerned about the metal falling at all anymore. We have those 10 points. You can see them right in there. That's kind of cool. The 10 anchor points. Anyway, I don't know where that rambling started, where the other stuff stopped or anything like that. But let me know again in the comments if you want me to remove these, if you think that'd make it a cleaner look. I personally do. The glass would just kind of lay instead of being down here. It will go into these grooves, so that should be just fine. It's kind of cool as it is, even without the glass. So there we have it. My saga of wall mounting my computer has finally come to an end. I'm excited about the future of videos I'm gonna be able to make with this and with this clear desk space. Leave a comment if you liked it and let me know of any other things you want me to try to attempt next. This has been the Don, this has been the Don Tech. Remember, the Don's got your back. And what we're gonna do is thread the nuts and bolt. That's too funny, too funny. Now we can do the actual proper outro. So that moves.